ask questions though. What do you mean by that? Or I say sometimes, well, do you mean to say that? And then I place the objection into a clarified form. I place it into a simpler or a refined format. A format that both you and your objector understand. So here's an example. Do you mean to say that you do not understand how God can be perfectly good if an evil, such as you experienced, is present in the creation? Do you mean to say you don't understand how God can be good if an evil such as what you experience is present in this creation? Or you might say, do you mean to say a perfectly good God is not compatible with presence of any evil? Help clarify, right? Help clarify the objection. You may need to follow up with, tell me what you mean when you say something is good or evil. And I frequently use this in conversation. I frequently tell people, well, what do you mean when you're saying good and evil? What do you mean by that? Tell me what that is to you. And I also follow up with, how do you know that? So what do you mean good and evil, and then how do you know that? Remember, we can't make assumptions. So part of refining the objection is not only to find out how the objector understands their objection by asking questions, clarifying it by, again, asking them more questions. Do you mean to say this? But also we need to remember we're trying to avoid assumption, right? You're going to hear something that sounds like the problem of evil, and you might launch into a full explanation of the moral law, right? And really, they're just like, no, I need a hug. I really just need a hug, okay? We want to avoid assumptions. There's another kind of assumption that we make. And I say this with a great love for people, but sometimes people don't understand their own argument. They don't. Sometimes they don't know what they're saying. They're just repeating mantra, or they're repeating what they've heard from, or what they read in a book, or a quick soundbite. So it's very important to clarify and refine the argument if we care about helping people discover truth. And another reason for this, and this was mentioned last night beautifully by Sarah, we do not want to put people on the defensive. Right? We don't want to put people on the defensive. Most people that I encounter go into defensive mode when they recognize a deficiency in their knowledge. Okay, especially in their knowledge or understanding of an important subject or a sensitive subject, like the problem of evil. Once they go into defensive mode, here's what happens to them. They're using all of their emotional and intellectual energy to defend themselves. They're feeding the defensiveness. That's where their energy is going, rather than thinking clearly through the issue. We want to free them up from that so that we can have a real conversation on the problem of evil.